Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have a few quick announcements before we begin, inshallah. Please make dua for Brother Abdul Samad, the father-in-law of Faraj Yusuf, who passed away on Monday. May Allah grant him the highest level of Jannah and grant ease and patience to his family. Ameen. The following individuals are in need of shifa: Brother Abdul Fattah Aziz, brother of Abdul Hafiz Aziz, who is actually recovering from surgery; Brother Sayyid Masavi, Sister Marzia, Sister Rana Khan, Brother Huzail Saad Abbasi, Sister Aisha Adam, Mrs. Dilara Akhtar, Sister Maryam Khanoum, Sister Zakiya Kabir, Sister Fatima Hisabi, Brother Zia Samadi, Sister Sonia Karim, Sister Sana Sattar, Brother Mahir Lutfi Saib, Sister Sarzina Haider, and our beloved son Zain Yusuf. May Allah grant these individuals a quick and speedy recovery. Ameen. ICIE will be hosting a community dinner on November 22nd at 3 p.m. For more information, please stop by the office. Al Shifa Clinic will be having its banquet dinner tomorrow, November 10th at 6 p.m. Dinner will take place at the Islamic Center of Corona. Support Alayleh by attending their 22nd annual banquet on November 17th at the Anaheim Hilton at 6 p.m. Tickets are selling faster than last year. You can purchase yours online or you can call the office. You can visit carelahbanquet.com for more information. Also, Mass Convention is November 22nd to the 24th. Tickets are still on sale. You can get them now before the price goes up. And the following two classes are for sisters only. Hifth Surat al-Baqarah is every Thursday at 10 a.m. and Khatm al-Quran is every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Sheikh Ahmed Sira class continues next week at a new time, 6:30 p.m. Again, new time for Sheikh Ahmed Sira class, 6:30 p.m. every Wednesday. The second khutbah is actually postponed until further notice. We apologize for the inconvenience and we hope to have it back in the near future, inshallah. Fajr Club is every Sunday, so if you're not attending, please do your best to try and attend. Also, if you haven't done so already, please consider donating to your masjid. You can do so on our website, ranchomasjid.org. And finally, today's khatib will be Brother Haitham Alayleh.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وتركها على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك وأصلي وأسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم بفضلك وكرمك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم آمين. وأما بعد فإن خير الحديث كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار أجارنا الله منها أجمعين اللهم آمين. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون صدق الله العظيم. All praises be to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His help, guidance and forgiveness. Whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide, none can misguide. And whomever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leads astray, no one can guide him back to the straight path but Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final servant and messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, to what translates to, O you who believe, have taqwa of Allah, be mindful of Allah, be fearful of Allah, and die not except as Muslims. O you who believe, have taqwa of Allah, and let every soul look at what it has prepared for tomorrow, and have taqwa of Allah. Surely Allah is aware of all that you do. We all have individuals in our lives that we are cautious of to a certain point that we call them enemies. So what we do is we try to learn as much as we can about these people to try to protect ourselves from them and advise others against them. So we are all protected from them. And I'm sure always when I say this, everybody comes to their mind certain individual or group of people they consider as enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us who our enemy is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran wanted us to channel our effort and channel all our capabilities on fighting one enemy that will truly destroy and devastate our lives. Not so much this life, is the hereafter. And that enemy is shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran in Surah Fatir, Inna shaytana lakum adu فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Shaitan is surely your enemy. Take him an enemy as well. So treat him as such. In order for us to know and learn how to protect ourselves from this enemy, we need to understand that enemy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He told us about Shaitan, He didn't just throw the name and say, you figure it out. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran at length always talked about shaitan, the story of shaitan with Adam. What are the things, which ways do shaitan get to us in details, as much detail as possible, so we may be protected, so we may watch over and protect ourselves from the angles that shaitan can approach us. And today, inshallah, we'll be talking about these angles and how we can protect ourselves from shaitan. What I'll start with, inshallah, is in a very brief summary, this story of Shaitan and Adam. And this is important, and probably always our youth that haven't really heard the story. And it's a good reminder for all of us to truly know what happened between our father Adam alayhi salam and Shaitan la'natullah alayh. So Shaitan, and I'm obviously just summing up based on scholars and everything, the story as we know, Shaitan used to be a very, very pious individual and a very pious creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he's the creation of jinn. He's not an angel. He's a different creation called jinn, created of fire. that individual, that creation of Allah was very pious to the point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to be in the gatherings of the angels who are created of light. So Shaitan was present when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam and ordered the angels, the gathering of the angels, to make prostration to Adam alayhi salam. Because the prostration is to glorify the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not the individual of Adam. All the angels, because they follow orders, they followed the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they made prostration for Adam alayhi salam. Shaitan, being an angel, being a creation of jinn, and he was given the capability to choose of the which action to do, he chose not to make prostration to Adam alayhi salam. So he refused the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that moment, now Shaitan, because of the status he was at, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would allow him to go to Jannah and live in it and enjoy it. When Shaitan disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was kicked out of Jannah. He was forbidden from going to Jannah ever again. At that moment, Shaitan blamed this whole thing that happened to him, all the bad, negative things that are happening in his life from this point on, was all blamed on Adam. It wasn't blamed on himself. He didn't blame himself for disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, Adam was the reason for me to get out of Jannah. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a request. He said, oh Allah, don't send me to hellfire from now. Because Shaitan knows there's only two ways. There's either Jannah or hellfire. There's nothing in between. Again, he's very well educated. He was a very pious individual. He knows about Jannah and hellfire. So he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me time. Don't send me to Jannah right now. That's all he said. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, I will give you time until the end of time, meaning until the time where we're going to have the hashr and the ba'ath and all this stuff. So then Shaitan made a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, oh Allah, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to use all the time that I have between now and then to try to persuade and persuade every single person and every single offspring of Adam to take them with me to hellfire. I'm going to take of them as many as I can. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you can try to do anything you want. You can try to go after them in any way you want. And whoever follows you, they will end up just like you. But there's a group of people that you cannot touch. And these are those who are my true servant. These, I'm protecting them. These are protected by me and you can never approach them. So after that, Shaitan, as we know, was kicked out of Jannah, as I said earlier. And then Shaitan didn't want Adam and his wife to enjoy Jannah. So he kept whispering and going on and on until he made them do the sin of eating from the tree, the forbidden tree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them not to touch. And then from that point on, they were sent out of Jannah into this life where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, if you go out of Jannah, you will be sent and you will have to struggle and basically prove yourself worthy of Jannah at this point instead of just taking it and living in it. So you're going to work hard, you're going to go through a lot of hardship, but if you do pass your test, then you will be going back to Jannah in the hereafter and there will be your final resting place. In a summary, this is the story of Adam and the story of Shaitan during the time of the creation of Adam and what took place. I ask you inshallah to move forward and close the gaps. We still have a lot of brothers coming in. I see a lot of empty gaps here. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ تَفَسَّحُوا فِي الْمَجَالِسِ فَافْسَحُوا يَفْسَحِ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, if you're asked in any gathering to make room, make room. So may Allah make room for you in your sa'a, in your rizq, and the hereafter inshallah. Jazakum Allah khair. So the biggest mistake Shaitan did is he disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are lessons for us. Disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one of the first holes Shaitan will poke in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He makes sure we start disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala minor stuff, very small things. You know, it's okay to lie now, it's okay to cheat a little bit. You know, small things, everybody on his own level, until it becomes part of him, and then the person goes astray. So disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one of the ways that shaitan gets to us. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this story tells us different things. The first thing he says, he tells us about the creation. And then he says that shaitan promised to be your enemy to Adam and his offsprings. And he told Adam, فَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمْ إِنَّ هَذَا عَدُوٌ لَكَ وَلِزَوْجِكَ. And he told Adam, when shaitan made the promise to Adam and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Adam clearly. He said, Adam, this is your enemy and the enemy of your wife to be. So protect yourself from them. This is before shaitan starts whispering to him and try to get him out of Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned him. Just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us in the Quran and send us all the prophets to warn us against shaitan. That shaitan is your enemy. He will make sure he'll do everything he can to get you and kick you out of Jannah. So be careful of him. Watch for him. Watch for how he's going to get to you. Adam alayhi salam, rahmakumullah. Adam alayhi salam took the warning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But here's the thing. Shaitan, if he's nothing, he's very patient and very persuasive and a very, very, very smart individual creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's not going to come to you and tell you, steal. No. He'll come and tell you slowly, try to befriend you in certain ways, send you new people, send you others, you befriend the wrong group, and this wrong group eventually slowly gets you until you get to steal. This is what shaitan did with Adam alayhi salam. Some scholars say that shaitan was trying to befriend Adam for 500 years. Keep in mind, time has no limit at that time. There's no limit, there's no sense of time. But they said 500 years. Just trying to befriend Adam. He didn't come to him the next day and say, Adam, I'm here, let's tell you something. No. He tried to stay away a little bit, come closer to him, show him that he cares for him, tell him about Jannah and there are places in Jannah and this and that, until he started gaining the trust of Adam. Slowly, 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 until he told him about this tree, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbid you from eating from, it will make you either an angel, because he made it sound like the angel is the best creation of Allah, or you will be in eternity in Jannah. Now Adam trusted shaitan that he wants his best well-being, so he listened to shaitan and then he committed this sin. And that's when he angered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he made the dua and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave him and he sent him back from Jannah to this earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned Adam about shaitan, that he is your enemy, be careful, watch out from him. And he told us the same thing over and over again in the Holy Quran and through these stories. They're nothing but lessons for us to learn from. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that the shaitan is going to do, he's going to try to push you away from doing the good deeds. Push you away from obeying the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not just do something good, but if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you, do this, don't do it. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders you to pray, then He will come up, always give you the excuses why not to pray right now, or delay it a little bit, or Allah will forgive you, it's okay, combine, do all these things until the prayer doesn't become as important for you. So if your hawa and your desire say, I don't feel like praying right now, and Allah Ghafurun Rahim, Allah will forgive me, then it's okay, I'm not going to pray. Same thing with zakat, same thing with siyam, same thing with hajj. Shaitan will always put in your mind every possible scenario to try to push you away from obeying the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as shaitan has made his mission very, very clear. He said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of what I'm at right now, as I said earlier, I'm going to stay for them in every venue they go to. I'm going to try to misguide them in everywhere they go. I'll try as much as I can to make sure they move away from your path and follow my path and end up with me in hellfire. So this is the mission of shaitan. And because as we know that this life is nothing but a transition to the hereafter, understanding and really knowing who our true enemy is important. Yes, we do have people in this life that we consider as enemies. And there's nothing wrong with us protecting ourselves and our kids and our family from bad individuals. But we don't want to shift focus from the true enemy that will cause us our hereafter. Not just will just cause us maybe bodily harm here or get me angry there in this life. I need to protect all my investments, all my hard work that I'm doing in this life. I need to protect this for my hereafter. So I need to make sure in everything I do, I watch, is shaitan part of this? Is this particular plan a plan of shaitan or not? Is this particular thing whispers from shaitan for me to fall in the trap and start losing hasanat and gain more sayyat? Everything for you in this life when it comes to these should be good deeds and bad deeds, and shaitan wanted to take away from the good and add more to the bad in order for you to go with him to hellfire. Wal-'iyadatu billah. So it's very important for us to watch over our actions and look into our life and truly understand and put in perspective who our true enemy is, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ عَدُوٌ لَكُمْ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. The shaitan is your true enemy, so guard him as such. وَأَقُولُ قَوْلِي هَذَا وَأَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ فَاسْتَغْفِرُوهُ فَيَفُوزُ الْمُسْتَغْفِرِينَ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. How are ways that shaitan can get into our life and poke into our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? One of the most devastating ways that shaitan can destroy everything we work for is he convinces you to worship other entities with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to commit shirk. Now, shirk as we know it is to worship another God with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or another God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as kufr. Now, when a person falls in this trap, everything is gone. If it's a clear kufr or a clear shirk. Now, there are things that are smaller, more hidden, not as obvious. When a person starts following his desires that goes against the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's another form of shirk. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set rules. He said, do and don't do. Clear things. So if a person follows his desires that says, I want to do the don'ts and I don't want to do the do's, then there's a big trouble, because now he is controlling what to do and which laws and orders to follow. So people will start worshiping their money. Oh, I'm going to collect as much money as I can. I want to spend it. I'll do everything I can to get this money. People will start worshiping other people. And it's not about standing there and making sujood and record for them all day long. No. The word ibadah is to follow the orders of somebody. When you're a abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you follow the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you follow the order of somebody else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this king or this president or this wali or this person or this individual, then you just became his abd. As if his orders go against the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You people are become slaves and abid of their own desires, because the desires take over and they basically don't think anymore. I feel like doing this, I just go in and do it. How about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said? That's okay, don't worry about it. I want to enjoy this life, make the best of my life. If it angers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna Allah ghafurur rahim. This is wrong. So these are three examples of how a person can worship other entities or other things beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you make shirk with Allah is when you follow the orders of another entity or you follow the orders of your own desire. He'll make you remember, he will make you forget the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is extremely dangerous. This is extremely dangerous. So the shaitan will have your mind busy with other things. Because subhanAllah, it's our nature, and I'm sure every one of us face it. If you become so, give yourself a week in one thing that's very important and you constantly think of it, throughout the whole entire day, let's say you have a project at work and it's taken a lot of effort and energy from you. You leave work, you go home, your brain is still thinking about it. You start talking to yourself about this project. If this project takes a week, a whole week passes by, and you are so occupied with this project, and you forget to talk, and nothing else matters in this life anymore. And this is how shaitan makes us forget the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I took the work as schedule. This is way of life here in the US. We are all busy at work. But he gets to you in other ways. He gets to you in a way that you would love songs so much that you start singing all day long instead of listening to Quran. He'll get to you that dancing is so fun that you start going to the places that requires you to dance and enjoy fun and be cool. He'll have you do all these things that will take your mind, your thoughts, and your energy, that when you're away from it, you're still thinking about it. How many of us, when we hear a song, and then all of a sudden, I like it, I enjoy it, I just feel really good with it, you hear yourself singing it. You hear yourself singing in your mind, if it's not out loud, in your mind. It takes you away from things more important, such as remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shaitan knows it's extremely important because it keeps you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why he makes sure he takes that away from you, and he keeps you away from that great ibadah, which is making the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another way is anger, and we are all guilty of it, every single one of us. This is one of the ways that shaitan goes and gets to us and makes problems between brothers and sisters and family members and friends through anger. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we look at the story of Musa alayhi salam, when he came to the city and he found people fighting, one from his group and the other one from the group of Fir'aun, he asked him for help, he killed the other one out of anger, and because he wants to protect his own blood. He didn't think it through. The anger took over, and shaitan was able to trick him into that particular situation. Another one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Yusuf, when he said, from Yusuf speaking, is when shaitan separated between me and my brother, when shaitan caused problems between me and my brother. Again, inshallah, move forward more, and it's getting busy outside, more crowded. Compact the lines, please, and move forward. Jazakumullah khair. We can at least fill one whole row in the back again. Just make more room, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. So, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a clear statement. He said, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَن يُوقِعَ بَيْنَكُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ. Shaitan, what he wants to do, he wants to make sure that he causes between you hatred and make you enemies through khamr, through maisir, gambling, drinking alcohol, doing drugs. All these things are venues for shaitan to create this, to make you enemies and create that anger between you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a clear warning about these things and the path of shaitan to us. He gets to you through making you afraid. Fear is a great weapon of shaitan. Always scared. When it comes time for zakat, first thing he will come to you is like, no, don't do it. You're going to become poor. So he puts this fear in your heart that this money that you're going to give away is going to make you poor. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised you that he'll give you 10 times as fold. But shaitan will make us focus on this life. Shaitan doesn't want us to focus on the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, I'm going to reward you. But the reward is for the hereafter. The reward is not now. You could live 100 to 100 to 1,000, over 1,000 years. Eventually, you're going to die here. But everything you do here, you have the eternal life and the hereafter. So Allah's reward is eternal. But shaitan always make us think about this life. If I give this $100 that I have today, I'm going to be $100 less. I've got the house payment, the car payment, the children, and this and that. You know what? Forget the zakat altogether. Forget just minimum donation. Forget anything. Fear. Strong weapon of shaitan. So when these things come, when you're asked to do something and you start feeling this fear, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Instantly. When the fear comes, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ask Allah to protect you against this fear. Remember, brothers and sisters, there's nothing we can do without the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every one of us might think, I am good, I'm a pious person, inshallah, and I can defeat shaitan. No. We cannot defeat shaitan on our own. The only way to defeat shaitan, first of all, is with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by following the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way He advised us to protect ourselves against shaitan. So fear of one of the weapons of shaitan. Don't go watch for your body, don't hurt yourself. No, don't do this because you're try to help somebody. He goes, no, don't do it. Let something happen to him. Watch for yourself. What happens if you get crippled, if something happened to you, have a family? So anytime you try to do something to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and something good for your hereafter, shaitan instantly comes in and tries to stop you from doing that by making you scared, by putting that fear in your heart. So you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah will help you to win against him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about the end result of this relationship with shaitan for those who follow their shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and then those who do follow shaitan, I'm just paraphrasing the ayat of course, they are guaranteed to go with him to hellfire. This is the resting place. If you like this particular person, you will be gathered with him on the hereafter, and you will go wherever he goes. The important part for us to remember, shaitan cannot force us to do anything. Shaitan cannot order us to do anything. The only thing shaitan can do is invite you. And this is the reality. Think of it. When you get these whispers in your heads, or your friends that come and tell you, let's do this, and let's go this place where you're supposed to go this place, nobody's twisting your arm, and nobody's carrying you and forcing you to go this way. You do it with your own free will. So shaitan has no power over you. The only thing shaitan can do is whisper sounds, voices in your head. Bring this person and this person. Yes, they'll put pressure, but nothing but words. The final decision is yours. If you follow on these footsteps, you did it voluntarily on your own free will. And that's exactly what shaitan will tell his followers on the Day of Judgment in hellfire. He says, I have no control over you. All I did is ask you to follow me, invite you to follow me, invite you to follow on my path, and you did. So therefore, don't blame me, but blame yourselves. I cannot help you today, and you cannot help me today. And therefore, they end up staying forever in hellfire. Allahumma ajirna minha ajma'in. So, it's important to know who our enemy is. Always keep that in mind. And when you always think of shaitan, keep in mind, shaitan has no control over us. We make our own choices. And we make the choices to listen to him or not to listen to him. And I'll end, inshallah, with the best weapon, with the best way for us to protect ourselves against shaitan. It's the same exact weapon that shaitan is trying to avoid us, trying to forbid us from using, which is dhikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dhikrullah, and I'll take a minute inshallah with this just to understand the importance of that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about it. He says, فَإِمَّا يَنزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ. Allah said, if you have this thing from a shaitan, mention Allah. Say أعوذ بالله, and always have dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on your tongue. Why? Because as you always speak of somebody, you're attached to him. As I said, you're closer to him. Your heart becomes attached to him. So therefore, you will do everything that individual wants you to do. So as long as you always keep remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that heart becomes tender and humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you follow on the orders, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you follow on that path that will lead you to Jannah. Allahumma ameen. So be careful who your true enemy is don't be occupied with this life. Watch for the hereafter and always have remembrance of Allah as your best weapon against shaitan. إن الله أمركم بأمر عظيم بدأ به بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه حين قال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام وانصر المسلمين وأعلي بفضلك رايتي الحق والدين وارفع الظلم عن المسلمين في كل مكان يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه عبدك ورسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ بك منه عبدك ورسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وإذا قضيت لنا قضاء فاجعل عاقبته رشدا. O Allah, show us the straight path as a straight path and help us follow it, and show us the wrong path as a wrong path and help us avoid it. Allahumma ameen, ameen, ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Wa aqim as-salah. Move forward, please. Make room. There's a lot of brothers still in the back. Straighten the lines and fill the gaps. Jazakumullah khair.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا واعتدلوا أثابنا وثابكم الله. Straighten the lines and fill the gaps and focus in your prayers. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس كان من الجن ففسق عن أمر ربه أفتتخذونه وذريته أولياء من دوني وهم لكم عدو بئس للظالمين بدلا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.